Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Vikas. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, it just.
So, Ryan, introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah. Hi, guys. My name is Reinhardt. I'm more well known for being a guitar player and also recently a music producer. The name of my band, we've been around for 17 years, is called Black. And the name of my production avatar is called Def Giant Productions. I've been producing a lot of Black's music over the recent years and also been producing other artists and working with brands and stuff like to create music. So yeah, I'm excited to just create music every day and do that kind of stuff. So it's uh, it's an amazing experience to just be fully functioning as a musician. And yeah, that's more or less what I do every day when I wake up and every day, like the whole day throughout. Yeah.
So, Ryan, let us know how you started. I mean, in the beginning when we were in
Right,
school. Are you in
right.
From Mumbai?
Where it all started is I think my dad's a guitar player as well. I was
Okay.
named after a guitar player called Django Reinhardt.
Oh,
So when I started was pretty early on. I saw my dad play in bands, and I was like, wow, what is this happening? It's like magic. I mean, what are they creating together? This music and so I was always like very curious and very interested in music at a very early age.
mhm.
I took part in a lot of singing competitions at that age, and I kind of was always interested in learning an instrument, but my fingers at that time started bleeding when I picked up my
Okay.
first guitar in like third grade, and so I said, "This is instrument is not for me. It's like a curse."
Okay.
So I never really wanted to pursue guitar after that incident. But then I don't know. Then after singing, and going to college, is when I first got introduced to this whole culture of rock music and stuff like that. So I was surrounded by a lot of cool kids from college canteen and stuff who were just playing the guitar, having a good time, and singing a lot of songs which seem very familiar. So I felt like connected and I felt like I wanted to be a part of that experience. And I felt like, just being around those guys and being around those kind of musicians around college. So, yeah, I mean, I in fact even bunked my exams
Okay.
just to play guitar in the college canteen. And I never really took that much of an interest in guitar from my third grade till my college at all. But when I entered college is when I decided ki, I think it's time to start playing guitar because this looks cool and the people around here are pretty cool. And I just wanted to be part of that kind of culture. So I think, yeah, music was always in my family. And just to tell you a little bit more, like I used to collect a lot of cassettes. So I would actually go to the store like Planet M, and I would actually take cassettes that I liked and I would hide them somewhere in the Planet M showroom so that
Okay.
no one else bought them. So that I
Okay.
got to buy them whenever I had the money for it. So yeah, I mean, a lot of my upbringing, I was raised on music as a household member and stuff like that. So my dad would have a lot of his band practices at my house, whether I had exams or I didn't have exams. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool. It was a good environment to just see like bands, like his bands jamming at my house, and literally the drummer of the band would drum on a diary, like
Okay.
it was that DIY because they didn't have jam rooms at that time and stuff like that, and who would carry a drum kit all the way everywhere. So that was a huge part of my upbringing
So,
because
which college you went?
I went to Wilson College,
Okay.
which is somewhere in Chani Road, Bombay.
Mhm.
And yeah, so even in college, it was very impressionable for me because I met a lot of my friends who were musicians, and I kind of hung out with the people who were very music oriented and who were completely in doing music as something that they enjoyed, not as something that they pursued as a career.
Okay.
But I found that very intriguing. I found that very exciting to just show up and have people around you surround you, and everyone's singing a song, everyone's playing guitar, everyone's playing some percussion here and there. And it was a great part of my life, I think, when I just entered college. And me being the studious guy in school completely got screwed up when I entered college, because I stopped taking my studies seriously, and
Okay.
I, in fact, even dropped a year because I decided guitar is what I want to do. And
What
after
were you studying?
I was studying science.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so but like, so this is something like, just to give you a perspective, I was pretty good at science and maths, scoring like 95% and all that. I enter college, I'm bunking exams, and I'm failing in physics, chemistry, maths, bio.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's when I decided like science is not for me, and I just need to do something in college just to, get some graduation degree. So shifted to arts and pursued bachelor of mass media, and like, stuff like that. Got into marketing and all that, because
Hmm.
I felt it could, like, help me in the long run with my music and stuff like that. And I was very focused on music. I just wanted to practice like 18 hours a day sometimes, because I was so intrigued by the guitar that I would make my own theory. I would create my own notes and try to, like, get ahead of like just understanding music theory on my own, because those days we never had YouTube, or we never had, like, any kind of help. And I would not really take help from my dad, even though he's a guitar player, because his music taste was completely different to mine. I mean, when I grew up, I was listening to System of a Down and, like, all those kind of crazy heavy bands, and it was not something that a household really likes, especially a
Okay.
Catholic household, when you're talking about, like, some antichrist stuff and stuff like that. So it was a great time. I mean, my parents always encouraged me. They never discouraged me. They never judged me on kind of music I listened to. But I had to create my own path, because I had to learn my own kind of music,
Mhm.
which was very different from what my dad was doing as a musician. He used to play in a Beatles cover band, and he used to play a lot of retro stuff, and, like, a lot of these Catholic weddings and stuff like that, like, where you play those kind of songs. And I was completely exploring something very
So that
different.
was his side gig, or
No,
he?
that was his main gig. It was his
Okay.
main gig, because he's been surviving as a musician for so many years. Like,
Okay.
he's been playing at a lot of playing for a lot of wedding bands. In fact, he used to be booked like 25 days a month. So
Okay.
he was that busy. So it was his main income. And, like, I mean, hats off to him for actually pulling it off. And he would know like 500,000 songs in any key, in any chord progression, or whatever it is. Like, so he was a very well trained, theoretically great person. Whereas I was more like experimenting and trying to learn music and teach myself things, like, which are completely not theoretical. Like, I was just interested in creating sounds and creating, like, some kind of sonic kind of happy space, which would make me feel, oh wow, this sounds nice, this sounds new, this sounds fresh. Like, so I always wanted to create music, and he was very theoretically aligned. And I felt that coming to me, like, probably after 2-3 years of playing the guitar, when I just got my fundamentals in place, I tried to learn a lot of music. I tried to get acquainted with, like, my roots of what rock music is or metal music is. And those were my roots. That was like Iron Maiden was a huge part of my discovery into guitar, like, just understanding the instrument, exploring it. And yeah, the Nirvana side of me also was pretty existent, because Nirvana was all punk and grunge, and, like, it was so fucking cool. Like, I just wanted to, like, be a part of that kind of music and create that music, or actually just play that music, like, just to get started with.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I was trying to write my own music, but it I never really had any foundation as such. It was just me exploring and just me trying to uh, understand my instrument and understand my craft, like, so that was a very initial phase. And I think the college years for me were the most exciting, because that was so much fun. I mean, I would remember just meeting up people at random bars, and, like, just playing music while someone is playing pool, like, playing guitar while someone is in the college canteen premises, and, like, we are all having fun, and we are all like just trying to play whatever song we knew. Like, so that was a great part of life. I mean, that was a discovery into guitar, and that's when I decided, okay, I really want to pursue this instrument. And it was not really for, like, trying to get commercial with it
No
or
money.
anything. It was more like, okay, I want to do this for fun, and I want to do this because it excites me.
Okay.
And okay, I will try to study also at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, I try to do that. I try to keep up some kind of academic success as well, because I wasn't too successful in my first year of college, as you know. So I tried to balance out both. It was really tough, but I had to do it. I mean, I had no other option, because I mean, my dad, being a musician, told me like, this is what you need to pursue. You can't put music first. Even though he was a musician, he recommended me against putting music first.
Mhm.
So I try to balance both out. I try to have a healthy academic dedication as well, and try to complete my degree. I said after my degree I'm not doing anything more. I just want to pursue music. So yeah, those were great years, man, and like, I really feel in debt to the great times I had with the people like I was surrounded by in college, because they introduced me to this world, and that world was pretty awesome.
So it seems like you were truly in your form in your college.
I was just getting introduced, like,
Okay.
so it was just an introduction to understand what music is about, understand how music is played amongst with other people.
Mhm.
Because as a kid, I always thought this is magic. Like, how are people playing in sync with each other? How are they, like, able to do that?
Okay.
But when I came to college and I made a lot of friends there who had different instruments, and like, had just the hunger for playing an instrument. Like, that kind of drove me. That spirit kind of made me feel like, wow, this is something I want to explore. And it was never with any intentions of, like, just trying to make something commercial out of it or anything. It was just like, oh, I want to understand this. So it was just understanding the instrument, understanding what songs I could play, and understanding that, oh, if I heard a song, I should be able to play the song. Like, so working out those kind of things, not being successful all the time, but at least having the idea, okay, this is like training your ear mostly. Like, okay, this is like, this probably an E minor chord or something like that, like, and just trying to see it on the guitar, and then trying to understand that this is the right chord. And I think a lot of credit goes to my dad, because when I was a kid, just like singing at college competitions or whatever it was, he trained me to understand what vocalist is singing. Like, he would be like, listen to this song. I mean, whatever was playing on the radio or TV or whatever, and he would help me. I mean, he would try to make me blind test what artist this is. You'd be like, do you recognize this artist? And I would like think, and then I would name this artist, and sometimes I would get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. So a lot of my year training was because of him. And when I got into college, I started trying to implement that on the guitar, like, saying, okay, this might be this chord, this might be this chord. And like, I never really had any formal training as such, but I remember the year training that my dad had passed on to me, and that kind of helped me connect with, okay, let me connect the dots, and like, figure out some chords on the guitar, make my own theory. And like, I was kind of going like a mad scientist that time, just trying to understand and trying to get my feet wet, basically.
So you went from practical knowledge to theory, I guess.
It was more practical me, because I don't think I entered the theory space.
Okay.
Like, because it was too overwhelming for me to explore theory, and it was too much of too much of information which I was not ready for. What I wanted to do is I wanted to create my own theory. I was like, okay, because I was really good at math, and I still think like I'm good at mental math, but like I would be like, okay, this plus this will be this and this and this, and like, so I would like calculate in my head, make a sheet, make notes of it, and like, try to understand the guitar fretboard just based on some mathematics. Like, so that made me like invest into learning something on my own. And I really didn't stop there, because I looked at some theory books, and I was like, oh god, I can't do this. This is too much information for me. This is So I relied heavily on my ears, and still today I do that, because my ears are I believe they are trained well, and I believe like that was my main foundation, rather than the skill of playing guitar. The foundation of understanding something with your ears and keeping your ear open to what is happening. So I would be able to tell ki, okay, this is not sounding right, this is sounding okay, this is sounding somewhere there, like, I would be able to tell that.
Mhm.
And at that time, we didn't have any tutorials on YouTube to actually make us understand what is right or wrong. So it was just
Right.
guesswork. And that kind of guesswork just kept me more excited into like, exploring more and like going for it completely.
I would like to give you my example.
Hmm.
So when I was a dance teacher, as I mentioned. So there was like a music teacher, classical music teacher, and Western. So I was interested in learning guitar
Right.
because I was Western dance teacher.
Right.
But when I saw his books of Furtado's Trinity exams,
Right.
he
Right.
was a examiner in Trinity or something.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the books, I mean, I lost the interest in learning the guitar because though it was very difficult to
Yeah.
understand what was
Yeah.
going on. So I thought, let it be. I don't want to learn
Yeah.
guitar.
It was very intimidating for me too, man. So it was
So
just.
that's so. I mean, that's what thought. I mean, that's the thing which I was thinking when I found my students who were more towards dance. Like in 100 students, if I see 5 students who are very good, I used to advise them to do something in mass media or
Yeah.
something so
Yeah.
that it can help.
Right. Right.
So out of 5 or 10 whom I advise, 2-3 people did, and they are doing good in their life
Right. Right.
in because of mass media. So how this education which you did is
Yeah.
helping you in your career right now?
I think more than the education, it was the faculty. Like
Okay.
I had this amazing professor. Shout out to Mr. Sudhakar. Uh, the reason everybody wanted to join this college is because of that one man. He was just an out of the box teacher, and he went out of his way to do things that were not in the syllabus. So it helped us understand the industry. He took us on a lot of industrial visits to different places of India. So it was so fucking cool. Like this guy, he really helped shape our experiences and our interactions with the outside world. So, and we had a lot of projects in this thing. So working with the group, understanding how different people are and different people behave. That was a very important part of our education, because we did like around, I think, 30 odd projects in a semester, to just get marked on for exams and stuff like that. So it was very important for us to get this done, get these projects out of the way, because that was how we were being marked. It was just like how you would have working in a laboratory for a science graduate, so it was just working on projects with your classmates in a group, sometimes individual, sometimes whatever. So that kind of helped us shape a lot of the education that we got from our peers, the experiences we got while working with them, and the kind of knowledge that was passed on to us by our main BMM coordinator really helped us get out into the world, really helped us get a strong footing of the kind of people we wanted to become. And I think everybody from my class is pretty successful at at advertising or journalism or PR or video editing, or different fields of mass media. Like we are one of the few people that explore music, so it was completely an offshoot. But at the same time, with music also, you need to understand a lot of things like branding, marketing, and so on, which now everybody knows, because now we are in the Instagram era. And everybody is so well versed with what to do and how to do. But back in the day, we never really knew how to do it. And I think this course really pushed us beyond our boundaries and helped us and particularly from this college, because I know people who have done this course from other colleges and it wasn't as exciting. It was just very basic. But because of our that certain faculty we had, and that guy really pushed us. He got really good speakers and guest speakers to help us understand the subject beyond the textbook. And that beyond the textbook part is where we grew, and where we actually help it helped shape our paths, and helped us understand ourselves better. And I think that was a major help in getting any job that I had, because all the jobs that I have nothing to do with my education. But they have a lot of grounding from the experiences I had in my education, the kind of people we've met, and the kind of places we've been to. So it definitely helped from that perspective. But from a theoretical perspective, I am not really like not really in touch with the education that I received, because if I had to do that, I would probably working in an advertising agency, or working in journalism. And some people are doing that. Some people are working in journalism. Some people are working in ad. But as a musician, I can't say that my education, my theoretic education actually helped me become a musician, because it had nothing to do with that. But at the same time, I can say the experiences I received from that faculty and from that kind of those projects and the people that were our classmates and stuff like that, like, all bright students, all great students, and like, so that helped us shape who we became, and helped us explore, like, our careers as musicians in a really great way. So yeah, I mean, to sum it up, I mean, it didn't really have to do BMM, but it was great because I did it from the place that I did it from. So it's the people that actually contributed more than the education system.
I asked you that question because,
Hmm.
for example, if someone has done BSc
Hmm.
and after that he becomes a musician
Yeah.
somehow,
Yeah.
and compared to you have done BMM,
Hmm.
so the idea of marketing, branding,
Hmm.
and facing the camera or how
Hmm.
to shoot or those all things
Yeah.
is what will help a musician more, like a
Hmm.
BSc degree or the thing which you have done in BMM?
I don't think a BSc degree or any degree matters.
Mhm.
I think what matters at the end of the day is, like I said, the people. So even if someone had to do a BMM degree, they might have not had the right people to be around.
Okay.
Like, so even if tomorrow you're doing a BSc degree or a BA degree, or you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it is, if you had the right kind of
People.
counseling and mentorship,
Mhm.
like, to help you pursue whatever you wanted in life, I think that is more important than having a degree. Because if you didn't meet the right people, then you would not know what to do. So no matter if you had an MBA or an IIT graduate or whatever it is, like, that really doesn't help as much as people help. People help shape you, and if you are at the right place at the right time, those experiences matter more. So if you're doing a degree, just make sure you're doing it with the intent of having the right experiences and not just writing an exam. Because writing an exam will only get you to some places. It will help you in your corporate journey or whatever it is, because those people see results and they, like, they are. But at the end of the day, you have to apply yourself. You have to know how to work with people. So working with people is not going to, you can't just learn that in a college degree. Working with people comes with, like, having the right mentorship and having the right people to push you forward and make you believe in yourself and make you believe in anything. If you're a science graduate, your science professor should not be telling you, oh, you need to, become a doctor, or you need to do something in the field of science to, like, go on and make a career out of yourself. You can be anything you want to be. Your degree has nothing to do with what you finally become. Like, a lot of the musicians that are world famous today have possibly done something else in their lives to, like, for example, the guy from Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson, he's a pilot. But I mean, he's probably learned all that. He's done all his degrees and stuff like that. But he plays in a heavy metal band, and that's more important than him being a pilot. No one cares about him being a pilot, but he's the vocalist of a heavy metal band. Now he drives his own plane. Like, Iron Maiden fly everywhere with their own plane and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But he didn't have to do that. He just happened to do that, and it kind of works. So it's the foundation that you receive in your early years, having being surrounded by the right people. And I think more than degrees is just experiences that matter. Experiences having to do with the people that, like, have positive energy, and you have something to learn from. Because ultimately, what the most important thing that you have is growth. If you can't grow from a person, then you should probably not be with that person. Because if someone helps you grow, that's the right energy to have. That's the kind of right time you need to spend. And I think more than degrees and stuff like that, you need to find the right people. Even the company you have in your college, your friends, your the places you hang out in, those things define you more than your degree, because those things will take you places. The degree will just be something on paper. You will never be able to apply yourself just with a degree. You still need some experience of working with people.
So your advice is to choose right people around you.
Yeah, so I feel like the company you're surrounded by will define who you become, and your degree will probably help you get a job which might be really boring. But if you surround yourself with the right people, you will have a rich experience of life, and you will have great positivity, and you will feel the energy of, you will love what you do.
Mhm.
And I think that's the most important thing today. Because having a high paying job which you work your ass off, and you really don't get appreciated that much and stuff like that. That's uh, that's not something, that's not a place I want to be in. At least maybe there are other people who don't mind that, but just for other youngsters who want to become musicians and stuff like that, I think get your degree, get everything in place. Just make sure you're surrounding yourself with great experiences, and never compromising on that. Because the moment you just focus on getting your degree and just getting out of college, and then it's just kind of going to be a very boring life after that. So have fun while you're at it, have a balance of both. And I think it's important to have as much fun, as much work. Having that balance is very important for your own health in the long run and in the present moment.
So what I was saying is like you said, talking to youngsters.
Yeah.
So nowadays youngsters have very low attention span,
Hmm.
and they are in hurry to get the result.
Hmm.
So if I ask someone to join a music class or
Hmm.
dance class
Hmm.
when they are in age of 8 or
Hmm.
12
Hmm.
maybe, so even the parents nowadays,
Hmm.
they want the result.
Yeah.
Like in 3 months or 6 months, they want to
Yeah.
see something.
Yeah.
So if that kind of student or
Hmm.
child, he wants to
Hmm.
pursue career.
Hmm.
So for example, as you have done mass media.
Hmm.
So if in case you start a production house someday,
Yeah.
so that knowledge will always help you, right? Because
Hmm.
you know the idea of marketing and branding.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you are on the head of this company,
Yeah.
at least you know that part, and
Yeah.
which is the strongest part nowadays, to do the branding and marketing, how to project, how to talk with the
Not
people.
necessarily, but to
Mhm.
some extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was saying, if he's young and
Hmm.
he thinks, or his parents think that he might become a musician,
Hmm.
so what should they do? I mean, what should be their role to find a proper institute or proper teaching for the
See,
child?
I think being a musician should not be decided by parents.
Mm-hmm.
Parents should never say, ki, oh, let me push my son or daughter into music. They will become legendary, whatever it is. I think, yeah, it is important to introduce them to the world of music, introduce them to sports, fashion, dance, everything. Let them understand what they gravitate towards. Never be pushy as to, okay, I want you to do this in life. I want you to become a doctor, an engineer, or I want you to become somebody famous, and like stuff like that. I think that's the wrong way to raise a kid. I think the right way to raise a kid is, yes, give him a
Options.
plethora of options.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to say, you have to do this. There is no have to in life. You have to just understand what pulls him or pulls her to gravitate towards, okay, this is something worth exploring, this is something I like, this is something that interests me. And I've seen a lot of these kids who are pushed into music. They are playing the right notes, they're doing everything right, but they are so bored of it. They're
Mm-hmm.
so bored of it, they don't
Yeah.
enjoy it at all. And I tell the parents ki, why are you doing this? I mean, I'm a musician, I know ki this person probably doesn't like music. He might be playing the right notes, he might be scoring the right grades and all, but he probably likes something like sports, or something like swimming, or something like dancing, or something like cycling. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding what makes your kid happy, and understanding what makes them excited, and they might, for all want to be a gardener. And there's no harm in being a gardener. I mean, they you don't have to see that as something that is bad, because I think a lot of the Indian mentality is like, if my son or daughter is not earning the bucks, they're not, I mean,
Respect.
yeah, they're not respected, or whatever it is. And I think sometimes parents forget that the joy that you get from doing what you do, because everybody was born here to do something different. Nobody was born to do the same thing, or nobody was born to force them to do what you want them to do, because that's like slavery. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm forcing you to do something that is against your will. So yes, it is important to experiment at an early age, try to understand what is good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. And just let it breathe, let it, suddenly you see your kid is bored of music, get him out from the music school. I mean, don't force him to do music, just make him feel like, or her feel like they enjoy and love what they're doing to the fullest extent that they want to continue exploring it further. A lot of the music prodigies that we have today are not because their parents forced them. Their parents probably introduced them to music, and then they were like, wow, wow, this is what I want to do. This is so exciting. This is what makes me happy. And they will move on higher in life, and sometimes they will get to the age of teenagers and they might not be happy doing music anymore, and that's completely fine, because you don't have to do one thing your entire life. I mean, we have been blessed with, like, this life, it's like a holiday, so you can do music for a few years, shift to something else for the next few years, and move on. You don't have to do the same thing all your life. There is no really have to, or like, it is want to or need to. That's different. But have to is something I feel like, we should, I mean, as the elder generation, I know there are a lot of kids out there. I think we should stop saying have to. Like, need to and want to is more important than have to, because need to is you need to survive. You need to figure out what you need to do to survive. And I'm a big fan of the ikigai concept, like, of finding the things that you actually are good at doing, and finding something that the world can pay you for what you're good at doing, like, so there are these different branches of the ikigai concept which makes you feel connected and more purposeful towards the world. And when you achieve that sense of purpose internally as a person, you will feel much more committed, and you will not feel like you're working even a day in your life. You will feel like you're having a great life and you're having a purposeful life. And I think the most important thing is to have some meaning, have some purpose, rather than be a part of the like monotony and the routine, and, like, just the kind of way everybody has been going about in their life. Because ultimately what happens, you work for a 9 to 5 job for 30, 40 years, and then you retire, and you're too old to have fun.
Mhm.
You're too old to have fun, so have fun now and work at the same time. I'm not saying you don't have to work, but, like, make it more meaningful, make it more exciting, make it more to do with, like, okay, this is one life I have. I'm not going to come back and live another life. Like, so I think a lot of people miss that, and they think like, okay, when I retire, I can just live off my pension and pursue my hobbies. No, 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 that's too late. That's supposed to be done now. Like, when you're a teenager, you're getting into your 20s, explore yourself, find your true self. And it's okay if you don't find answers immediately. Take your time, take years and years to understand what you love doing, what you appreciate doing, and be honest with yourself. Because if you're going to just chase money, probably you will not find the realm of honesty in yourself. You will just be like, okay, I just want to make money. But being honest will help you get some internal satisfaction, and at the same time it will help you achieve your goals more effortlessly, rather than, like, monetarily and having pressure of supporting a family, or getting into more the adulting space where you're just trying to take care of your responsibilities. So yeah, I think yeah, coming back to your question, I think it should just be something that people don't force their kids to do. And people should just parents rather, that's their role. Their role is to introduce them to all sets of possibilities, and just withdraw as you see the interest declining or whatever. Withdraw, and then maybe they want to explore it later on in their own way, and give them the freedom to do that. Let them complete their studies and all, because obviously that's important for the corporate world, and, like, for them to have some kind of survival mechanism. But it's important for us to not forcefully condition them to do something against their will. And even if that thing is music, because it's not like, just because you're doing music you're a fun person or whatever it is. No, sometimes even music can be, like, taunting. It can be, like, something that somebody does not want to explore, because they probably wanted to do something more exciting in their life, and you're just forcing them to be a musician. And I know a lot of music teachers and stuff like that, like, who force their kids to be music and stuff like that. And I think that's not the way to go about it. I think you should just be free. You should just be whoever you choose to be. And this is something you will only be able to understand when you get older. So as you get older, make your mistakes. Don't let your parents make the mistakes for you. Like, make your mistakes, find your true self, and find your journey, man. That's all I can say.
So as you told this part,
Hmm.
so if someone like imagine Ryan in his 12th standard, he discovered that he wants to become a musician.
Yeah.
So, what education or along with the education he should do more, to which will help him when he is in the real world, like any courses which is for like audio engineering
Right.
or mixing thing, or what is the thing which he should learn? I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
talking only about guitarist,
Yeah.
like any musician.
Right, right. See, I think as a musician in your teenage years, I think the most important thing is to keep yourself open to multiple possibilities. I mean, you might be playing guitar, but you end up becoming a drummer, or you might be like, more inclined to music production, but you might become a piano player for all you know. There are different ways to explore what your talents are and consider taking them further. But if you ask me about courses, if you ask me about all this jazz, I think they are all bullshit. Like, I mean, sorry for being so honest about it, but today you can literally learn everything off YouTube. I mean, I kind of became a music producer, self-proclaimed, because of my YouTube research, and just trying to find out what are the different techniques people are using. So in today's world, you can literally learn everything about music from YouTube, and it's not really that hard to invest time and invest some effort into exploring what are the possibilities. Because what happens in a course, the only good thing you can get from a course is mentorship. You can look up to a person and you can see that, okay, fine, this person is a great person to be around. This person influences me and helps me, inspires me rather. And that is more valuable than doing the actual course. Because if you really want to learn the skill, there are millions of YouTube videos out there, tutorials out there, like that can help you. There are paid tutorials, there are some unpaid, free, whatever it is, like but the most important thing is to grasp the knowledge with the hunger for grasping more knowledge. Like so okay, I learned this, oh, let me learn something more cool, let me something new, like so it's that what is going to keep you driven. Because ultimately, if you do a course, then what? The course is over, and then what do you do? Like you have to find some way to apply what you learned in that course. And if you don't find a way to apply it, if you don't find a job to like make validate that kind of course, then you're kind of stuck. Then you feel like, oh my god, I wasted all my money on that course, I wasted all my time on that course. You don't have to do that. You just have to be open to investing time. Because like if you're investing time, you will find resources, you will find things that will excite you and make you feel like, okay, fine, I'll learn about this today, I'll learn about that today. And the learning curve should never stop, and it should never be about like oh, I have to do a course to learn something. No, you don't have to do a course to learn anything. You can just research what you want to do, get it done. And then maybe, okay, fine, if you need accreditation and you really need that for your job, then you do a course. Because somebody says, oh, if you're not an engineer, I can't give you this job, and you really want that job, okay, then do a course, get that certification, get that accreditation, and like move on, get that job that you really feel is a job of your dreams or whatever it is. That makes sense to do a course. Because that university, I mean, that kind of job or that kind of entity, it kind of demands you to be credited with that certification. So then it makes sense to do that and pursue that, because you have that as an end goal. But just doing it out of like no real end goal and just jumping into it, no, I don't advise that. I advise spending more time and sitting at home and discovering learning techniques and tutorials to just get ahead of the game. And then what you do is you meet people from the industry. You meet people to help you understand what goes on in the application side of things. You make friends, you do internships. Those are more valuable than courses. Because in an internship, people are looking for how can you apply yourself, what can you learn from just being in a studio environment or being a music producer or whatever it is. Those things you will learn a lot more than you will learn in a course. Because what you learn in a course is a textbook, and when you go out into the real world, people will laugh at you, because they will be like, dude, you have no experience. Like so it is important to learn a bit of theory and then go and apply it. But learning a bit of theory and not being able to apply it is just not going to be a good result for you. So I think, yeah, just keep yourself open, and there is no real have to, or I have to do this only, I have to do it this way, that way it is. So I think it's just more about experimentation. Take each day as it comes, and be hungry for learning new things every day, because it's not like, oh, I did a course, now I've learned everything I needed to know. No, 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 there is a lot of things that you don't know that are not part of your course. So you have to go out in the real world, and you have to actually understand that from the people in your industry and from the people that you aspire to become. Look at those people that aspire you, that inspire you. Spend time with them, or find a way to just have some basic interactions from them, and understand what they are doing in their work setup and stuff like that, and try to just learn some basics from them. Like, it's not going to be that difficult for you to be in the room while they are working, because that's going to be so helpful for you, because you're just looking at how the real world operates, the real industry operates, rather than like doing some course, and like then you're bound to not knowing what to do with your life. I mean, you spent like 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, whatever money on that course, and sometimes people even go abroad and pursue courses and come back to India and like they're stuck. So I don't think it's fair to waste your parents' money, and I think it's more important to understand the reason behind what you're doing, and pursue what you're doing with an intent and with a future goal, and have some kind of ambition to be somebody that you aspire to be, rather than just like having something on your resume.
Okay. So to summarize,
Yeah.
I would say that you're saying in today's world,
Hmm.
if you are becoming a musician, the best place is to go on internet,
Yeah.
find a good mentor for yourself first
Yeah.
of all,
Yeah.
and apart from being mentored with someone,
Hmm.
you can also go on YouTube and find different techniques,
See, a
because
mentor you will not find on YouTube.
I mean
I
as a
mean,
teachers.
as a teacher, it's very difficult to like have something. See, because mentorship is a very it's an experience. You
Hmm.
can't get that from a screen.
Yeah.
You might get inspired, but you can't be mentored from like having a tutorial with someone, or having that kind of thing. It's just an experience of being in the room with the person that
No,
you
I mean finding them on internet
yeah.
and joining them in their classes or wherever they teach.
Yeah, I mean, still, like like finding them in the classes wherever they teach, that's great. I mean, like you have a one-on-one experience with them. You get to meet them, understand things that you might not understand on the internet. But yeah, so like I said, if you want to understand the skill, you go on the internet, find out about the skill, because that's the fundamental, right? That's the
Mhm.
but if you want to apply yourself, if you want to understand how the industry works and all that, then you need to meet people, then you need to understand what are these people going to offer that is different. And everybody works in their own way. It's not like there's one way of working. There's not one way of writing a song. There's like a million ways of writing a song. So everyone's approach is different, everyone is human, everyone has their own way of doing things. So you understand those nitty gritties when you are with somebody, when you are working with them, when you're in the room with them. That's mentorship, and that's priceless. That's not something that you can learn from YouTube. So I'm saying, yes, the YouTube part is important to get your skills, to get your chops, to understand basic fundamentals. But when you want to actually apply yourself, then you need to go out into the real world, and you need to see what how it actually functions and how it actually works.
So after, I mean, someone has, imagine he has
Hmm.
learned for like 3 to 4 years. He
Hmm.
has been jamming with his
Band.
first band or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
How should they put them out there, in
Hmm.
front of people? Like
Hmm.
they should go underground or directly start YouTube channel, or
See,
what should they do?
I think if you had asked me this 20 years ago, I would have a different answer. But we're living in the world of Instagram, and sadly, I mean, today people really don't care about what bands do. They care about the content you put out, the frequency of the content you put out. So even if you put out something unrelated to your band, and you're just having a great time somewhere in the mountains for all you care, that is going to get more attention than your song.
Okay.
So don't stress yourself, like by, oh, I need to put out X number of songs, to get like some kind of recognition and stuff like that, because those days are gone. Those days, the world has moved forward I mean, I wouldn't say the word forward, but the world has moved in a different direction when it comes to bands aspiring to make something out of their lives. And I think what happens is a lot of the bands, a lot of the artists that are successful today are the ones who are putting out content and putting it out regularly. And that's just because the trend has changed. People want to consume something, like, that they are familiar with, and that the short attention span. Earlier, you would have bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, whatever, putting out box sets, DVDs of their live
Concerts.
shows, and
Hmm.
having the works and having like everything so special and so there was a bond that you would create with these artists. And that's not there anymore. I mean, the days are gone where people would connect with something like that. I mean, that's what I said. If you asked me this 20 years ago, I would have probably had a different answer. But I think today, all you can do in, like, if for a young band, is to keep playing shows, because if you are in any sense, you call yourself a band that is a conventional band and not a fucking influencer, that is the difference between the bands of today and the bands that call themselves true bands. The real hardcore bands will be the ones playing shows, and you might not even know about it, because these shows are offline. They are a very special experience. Like, you might call it underground or whatever it is, but it's an experience you give to your fans that come into a room of, or a venue, whatever it is, and they don't know you at all, and you play your set and you create an emotion. And I think that emotion is so valid. It's what real bands are about. What is music about? Music is about, like, an emotion that moves you and makes you feel something. So I think that is our primary responsibility as musicians, to create that emotion. And the moment we subscribe to the way the influencers are doing it, because today musicians are fighting with comedians, they're fighting with sportsmen, they're fighting with the whole world for attention, because everybody's putting out content. And when I say fighting, I mean fighting for mental space of recall. No one's going to recall a musician when there are, like, some influencers or models or anything that's out there, that's there for you to consume. There's so much of content for you to consume. Why would you even think about consuming a song or some music video or whatever it is in today's day and age? You're just scrolling for some story, and you're just, like, trying to get to the next piece of content that is made by the world. So I think right now, if you just leave that online thing, if you want to do it because the whole world is doing it. But if you leave that online thing out of the way, and you focus on your offline shows, and you focus on playing good shows, you focus on playing shows that have more people than you getting paid. Because, see, getting paid is part of the process, but it's a later stage in the process. So what you need to do, like, it's my personal advice. I don't know whether this will work for everybody, but I think when you try to play a show, I think the most important thing you need to know is not how much you get paid, but how many people are going to be there to watch you. Because that is the most important thing that a lot of musicians miss. They'll be like, okay, I'm getting paid this amount for the show, it should be a great show. But you go there and it's a fucking corporate show, and there are probably only corporate people there, and that's like a boring show to do. But maybe you're doing a free show and you're playing this huge festival and there are 10,000 people. Which show would you pick? You would obviously pick the festival. If you are a true band, if you are just here to make money, then you would pick the corporate show and treat this as a job. So as a young band, I think it's more important for you to know your music, the reach of your music, than the monetization it will give you. Because I would advise you in today's day and age to get a job and, do music on the side, and then slowly build that, and then do music full time. But initially you will have to start with a job. You would have to find a way to balance what you're doing as a band, because it is very difficult to survive as a music artist today if you're going to make that your livelihood. I mean, you probably can survive as a musician by playing for multiple bands, but as a band, as a unit, it's going to be pretty hard to, find some monetarily success. And I think that's why you have to recalibrate, and you have to try to understand how you can make the space into creating some kind of following, some kind, I mean, I say following, I don't mean the Instagram following or the whatever social media following. I mean a following where there are a group of people who will come for every show of yours, and who will die to come for every show of yours. They'll be like, nay, 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 I want to go for this show because this band, my favorite band, is playing. And why are they your favorite band? I mean, why? Because you kind of created an emotion, you kind of created a space for them to feel like, like they want to be experiencing your music, and they want to, like, they take back something, from that show or from that experience. So I think just focus on practicing, like, practice your, I mean, spend a lot of time in jam rooms practicing, record, or, like, create music, and just do that, and do it really well. So when you have that chance to shine on stage, you are slaying it. And when you are slaying it, I mean, you are creating an impact where someone is calling you and saying, hey, can you just play this next show of mine? Some other friend is telling some other friend, hey, I checked out this band, we need to get them to our college. That's the kind of momentum you want, and momentum is going to create everything for you, like, what money can't do. And I think it's very important to focus on playing more shows and getting your reach there to, like, a huge audience ultimately. But obviously we have to start small, play in a show in a venue of 50 people, 200 people, 500 people, 10,000 people. That all takes time, but it's very important to start somewhere and to just get your music heard, and then things start moving. The universe is a, it's a very I mean, it's a place that requires momentum, and if you create that momentum, if you bring that momentum, you will find shows to look out for. And as a new band who's just 3 or 4 years old, like you said, like, I think that's a very important place to be. It's very important to be hungry to play, and not be hungry to pocket money or to find some kind of revenue system from this. That will also come, but you have to start somewhere by creating some kind of desire for your band. And then if you want to focus on Instagram and do all of that marketing and all that, that's up to you. But I don't see that as an important thing. But yes, it is important for people to even recall you, and right now they're looking at social media, like, to check your following, or to check, I mean, even international bands, the bands that come to India, people are always looking at your following, whether you'll be able to have a crowd in India. So it's all very commercially orchestrated. So there is no way that you will be able to beat that at the moment right now. All you need to do is just get really good as a band, and don't give up believing, like, because believing is a very important thing that will be your fuel, because you might not have been making enough money, but if you believe enough to create more music and to bring special experiences to your audiences, I think that's going to hold a lot of credibility for you to move forward, and for you to, like, explore so much more that is there, like, in this industry.
Okay, Ryan, we had a great time,
Yeah, man.
and I
Thank
think
you.
there is much more knowledge in you, which we can explore in next part.
I'm sure.
Thanks for coming on
Yeah.
our podcast,
Thank you, man.
and
Thank you
we
so
see you
much.
soon again.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Thank
Cheers, man.
you.
Cheers.